Hello, Energy Management Business Case students. Dr. Conway here for Lesson 2, which is Strategies for Building Our Business Cases. We're going to be having our Zoom call tomorrow at 3 o'clock, where we'll pick up issues related to your term project and any questions we have on this particular lesson. All right? So let's get started on talking about the strategies for building your business case. There's really three areas that I want to focus on: linking your business case to organizational priorities, how to engage the right decision makers within the organization to increase chances for your business case to be adopted by senior management, and to deal with the issue of cost-benefit analysis. So let's just proceed down those three courses. Now, this simple flow diagram gives you a sense as to how business cases would normally proceed. Okay, first you would identify and prioritize energy-saving opportunities that you could potentially identify. If it's a pre-existing organization or pre-existing business, then obviously you would do your standard work any energy manager would do to determine how efficiently and effectively the organization is using its energy resources. Okay, that can include everything from a walkthrough of the organization to reading their design specs to all the types of things you've learned about in your other courses. Once you've identified the priority areas where you think you can make a substantial contribution to the energy efficiency of your organization, then you would begin to build the business case for that. In the process of building the first draft of the business case, you would want to begin to convince decision makers within the organization. And that's not just the people that would approve your business case, but the people that you would expect you need to provide support to your business case. So steps 1 and 2 are really occurring simultaneously. You're working with other key decision makers to build a business case that would be accepted by senior management. Okay. Now this would, for example, involve, you've identified your priorities. You begin to build your business case. Typically, you would build your business case with a team of other people within the organization who have a high stake or high interest in the stability and the efficiency of energy supply. So you might get somebody like the director of operations to provide you with a representative for your team. The people who are working in, like if you're working in a factory, who are working on the docking and distribution and shipping platform might designate somebody to be involved, etc., etc. The key decision makers within the organization would be the people that you would, in order to get to step 2, you would want to bring them along in step 1. So by the time you finish your business case, you have allies within the organization that are going to help you sell the business case to the decision makers who will accurately determine whether your business case plan will move ahead or not. Then you implement the opportunity in step 3, and in step 4 you monitor. And we'll have a lot to talk about monitoring as we go through in the program of activity, okay, during the course. Now, linking to organizational priorities is a vital aspect of every business case. If the benefits of the business case are not clear to senior managers on how that business case is going to help the organization achieve its organizational objectives, then the likelihood that you're going to receive any additional funding or support within the organization for that is greatly decreased. Okay, managers are always dealing with competing resources. It doesn't matter how wealthy an organization is. You could be Google, or you could be Facebook, or you could be Microsoft, or you could be any organization. And any manager in those organizations is still met with way more demands than they can afford to fund. Okay? And so, convincing management of the value of your business case as part of competing priorities and seeing your business case as being more valuable than other competing priorities is the key. Okay? So you also need to be sensitive to the financial situation of the organization, or for that reason as well, your business case is not going to be adopted. There's no use powering up a business case that would cost a medium-sized company that doesn't have much surplus millions and millions of dollars to implement all at one time. You might provide a business case that would allow them to phase it over time. That's fine. But initially, your your business case planning has to be sensitive to the capital availability of the organization, okay, going forward. Whenever there's sizable capital expenditures, you might often have to scale it. Even for large organizations, they might not be able to adopt all of your suggestions at one time. It might be that you're going to have to phase it over a number of years to implement everything that you're proposing for the organization. And for those reasons, it's also important to, as I was just saying in step 1 and step 2 in the previous slides, is that you engage decision makers early in the process of thinking about this, because they will have an idea as to what the organization can stomach financially and what is technically feasible to implement, not relative to your energy management expertise, but to their, say, production line expertise, their shipping expertise, whatever the case may be. They also have constraints, and you have to learn about those constraints to develop an effective and efficient business case, okay? So you need to show management that steps will be taken to research the most efficient options when procuring new equipment, for example, all right? Again, that requires reaching out to other key decision makers. You will be implementing projects in such a way that it won't cause untenable shutdowns, won't cause them to meet or not meet quotas, et cetera, et cetera. And you need to build energy efficiency into, ongoing operations. Once you make capital investments into an energy management initiative or energy efficiency initiative, it doesn't run itself, right? It has to be maintained as a key aspect of the operation of the organization going forward. That's another reason why you need to link to organizational objectives, so that the ongoing operational requirements implied in your business case become part of standard operating procedures within the organization. Otherwise, they won't be maintained. It's like implementing a water purification plant at a off-grid manufacturing facility in a developing country. You can make the investment to put the water filtration plant in, but if that water filtration plant is not maintained, within months it'll be obsolete, or it will be broken down and won't be operating, and they'll be back to previous practices again. It's the same thing applies with energy management, okay? So engaging the right decision makers and stakeholders early in the process is critically important, okay? If you're going to get your business case adopted by senior management, and if you're going to be able to see that your business case becomes part of ongoing operational procedures within the organization, you have to engage these decision makers. You have to make them what we call own the business case as much as you do. Own it and see value in it, so that they then assign people to do the appropriate tasks going forward, all right? That's absolutely key. And it's very important when you go into any organization to do any task that you understand who those key players are, all right? And that within very large projects, it's important to have a dedicated project team. The project team would be those key decision makers I'm talking about, or their appointees from other parts of the organization. You would establish those as a project team to build your business case, but you would try to keep that project team running as well for the ongoing operational requirements of what your business case entailed, all right? So identifying key decision makers. A business case in energy management, a business case of any significance, is not one person sitting in an office writing up a business case. It's a process. There's the intellectual aspects of the process, but there's also the stakeholder engagement, the decision-making buy-in, the engagement of key decision makers within other units of your organization on an ongoing basis, all right? And of course, any business worth its salt is not going to invest a lot of money without having a solid business case that includes a cost-benefit analysis. Who is going to invest substantial resources into something that will return less benefits than costs? Of course, they're going to want to see that any initiative that you're advancing, it returns higher benefits than costs, obviously. Now, those costs and those benefits are not always just energy savings, right? They can be other benefits as well. Obviously, some of those benefits need to be energy savings and costs, but others would include things like energy stability, reliability, public recognition for having adopted measures to control climate change, stakeholder support you're getting from advancing these initiatives, changing the company brand, turning the company into a green company. All of these messages that go into the marketplace in the end become monetized and become part of the benefits of a business case before becoming a greener company with respect to its energy use. So doing a cost-benefit analysis is absolutely critical. And no manager, no controller, financial controller of an organization is going to sign off on a check to do something that they're not confident that it can return benefits that exceed costs. That's very, very clear. And a cost-benefit analysis as part of your business case is what validates that for the decision maker. Okay, and while I don't expect you to become leading cost-benefit analysis coming out of this course, I expect you to learn enough about cost-benefit analysis that you can participate in these discussions. And when you read a cost-benefit analysis, you know what you're looking at. And that's the level of effort that I'm expecting in the course as we go forward. A lot of the second half of our course will be about cost-benefit analysis, okay? Now, all of these rules, they apply as to whether you're on a project team that's going to be designing a new structure, or you're on a project team and the energy manager on a project team within an existing facility that's maybe been operating for 50 years. It doesn't matter. The principles remain exactly the same, all right? And so that's the logic that you have to follow through on an energy management business case, okay? Now, one of the key things that we have to be aware of in energy management business cases is that studies have shown that one of the chief reasons that they fail is that there's not follow-up risk mitigation and monitoring activities to determine whether the business case is actually working the way it was supposed to work. No manager wants to invest substantial resources into a business case with no way of knowing that the business case is working or not, or that the business case is going to cause unforeseen risks to the production of the organization, the safety of the workers, whatever the case may be. So, these are really key ingredients for a business case. When you prepare a business case, you have to have a monitoring plan. How is the manager going to know that what you proposed is the right way and that it's paying off the way it was anticipated to be paying off, okay? And managing risks. Risks is really key, so you have to have a section in your business case also on managing risks, okay? Financial risks, operational risks, safety risks, and so on and so forth. So if your energy management transformation of your organization is substantial, there may be a number of these risks involved. It may be worker safety risk. Maybe workers need to be trained in a different way. Maybe there's new safety equipment that have to be bought, or maybe there's even new people that have to be hired. It all depends. And operational risks, of course, for any organization that depends upon their operations for their financial cash flow, they're going to be very concerned about operational risk and shutdowns. Financial risks are obvious, right, in terms of payback. And we'll be talking about more of these as we go through our course, all right? But these are three key areas that you need to think about. These are the key areas that you need to think about when you're planning your business case. Who am I going to engage? How am I going to engage them? How am I going to monitor results? What does my cost benefit look like? Am I suggesting something that is too costly for the benefits that will be accrued to the organization? Am I not investing enough and the benefits are so small that no manager is going to take it seriously? All of these things have to be thought about as we go through learning how to develop a winnable business case in any organization. And then funding, funding is a consideration we'll also consider as we go forward. There are different ways to think about funding. Most funding is still done internally to an organization, but there are other ways of looking at funding as well. But one of the key points I want to make about funding is that it's important for any energy manager to understand how funding and budgetary decisions are made within an organization. There's no use presenting a business case to a management team that has just approved its budget last week for the next year, or worse yet, you've just presented your business case and you know what? The budget for this coming year has already been approved by the board and they have a 5-year fiscal plan. You're basically done for at that point. So you need to know how your business case is going to fit into the funding decision cycle as well, all right, in the organization. So These are all the factors that we need to think about. So, you read the slides and understand these factors and think about how they apply to developing a viable business case. All right? So I'll talk to you again tomorrow on our Zoom call. And any questions about this can be applied, and obviously any questions related to your term project will also be highly relevant to what we're going to be discussing tomorrow. Come prepared with your questions, all right? Don't sit on the call and try to think about your questions. Think about your questions before the call and ask them verbally over the call, all right? Because that's the only way you're going to be able to learn and move forward in this exercise, okay? If you wait too long to ask your questions into the course, then you'll be playing a lot of catch up in the second half of the course, okay? Have a good day. We'll talk to you Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Check your calendars for the Zoom call information. Bye-bye now.